Hey, sixth graders, we are on our last journal entry for today diary entry, to get to page 164. So let's go ahead and get started. I did move the iPad closer to the computer speaker. Hopefully you can hear her read even clearer. Let me know if you can or can't.
Thursday, 2 March 1944. Dear Kitty, Margot and I were both up in the attic today. Although we were not able to enjoy it together as I had imagined, still I do know that she shares my feelings over most things. During dishwashing, Ellie began telling Mummy and Mrs. Von Don that she felt very discouraged at times. And what help do you think they gave her? Do you know what Mummy's advice was? She should try to think of all the other people who are in trouble. What is the good of thinking of misery when one is already miserable oneself? I said this too, and was told, you keep out of this sort of conversation. Aren't the grown-ups idiotic and stupid? Just as if Peter, Margot, Ellie, and I don't all feel the same about things. And only a mother's love, or that of a very, very good friend, can help us. These mothers here just don't understand us at all. Perhaps Mrs. Von Don does a little more than Mummy. Oh, I would so have liked to say something to poor Ellie. Something that I know from experience would have helped her. But Daddy came between us and pushed me aside. Aren't they all stupid? We aren't even allowed to have any opinions. People can tell you to keep your mouth shut, but it doesn't stop you having your own opinion. Even if people are still very young, they shouldn't be prevented from saying what they think.
Can you guys relate to that? Have you ever felt that because you're a kid, grown-ups don't let you have an opinion or even offer advice to them? I know I had that when I was a kid. So I'm just curious if you guys have a situation you want to share in the comments.
Only great love and devotion can help Ellie, Margot, Pedro, and me, and none of us gets it. And no one, especially the stupid know-alls here, can understand us, because we are much more sensitive and much more advanced in our thoughts than anyone here would ever imagine in their wildest dreams.
Did you guys notice that I underlined the word stupid? She used it 3 times in just a couple paragraphs. Now, if you were writing, say, your autobiography, and some of you guys did this, you use the word fun a lot. I had some of you change it, and we'd find a better word. Some of you would even use it in the same paragraph a couple times. But she's an excellent writer, and she has definitely grown as a writer. She's using it for effect, and I think that it also ties into the tone of the entry. What tone is being shown here? We talked about tone last week in terms of the whole diary, how it's melodramatic because it presents all different kinds of emotions. Some of the entries are happy, some are sad, some are humorous. But this one has one specific tone. How is she feeling? How are you feeling as you're reading it? Especially if you relate to her. And I definitely agree with her down here. They don't want to listen to her or to Margot or to Peter because they're kids. But they are more sensitive and much more advanced in their thoughts than anyone here or there would ever imagine in their wildest dreams. I agree. And Margot and Peter and the other children and teenagers in the Holocaust went through something that their parents didn't have to go through. Anne has had to mature. We've talked about that in a very different way than Mrs. Van Daan or Mrs. Frank. So they have experience, and I think that they've earned a right to maybe offer advice to Ellie, but that's just my opinion. So let's continue.
Mummy is grumbling again at the moment. She is obviously jealous because I talk more to Mrs. Von Don than to her nowadays. I managed to get hold of Peter this afternoon, and we talked for at least 3/4 of an hour. Peter had the greatest difficulty in saying anything about himself. It took a long time to draw him out. He told me how often his parents quarrel over politics, cigarettes, and all kinds of things. He was very shy. Then I talked to him about my parents. He defended Daddy. He thought him a first-rate chap. Then we talked about upstairs and downstairs again. He was really rather amazed that we don't always like his parents. Peter, I said, you know I'm always honest, so why shouldn't I tell you that we see their faults too?
That part made me laugh a little bit. I don't know if you guys heard me snicker. So we've talked about the Van Dans a lot. You guys wrote from their point of view or wrote about them in short answers, but Peter was surprised that Anne and Margot don't always like his parents. That made me laugh because they've they have not been very kind, and they've been bossy and judgmental. So I'm a little surprised. Let's continue.
And among other things, I also said, I would so like to help you, Peter. Can't I? You are in such an awkward position, and although you don't say anything, it doesn't mean that you don't care. Oh, I would always welcome your help. Perhaps you would do better to go to Daddy. He wouldn't let anything go any further. Take it from me. You can easily tell him. Yes, he is a real pal. You're very fond of him, aren't you? Peter nodded, and I went on. And he is of you, too. He looked up quickly and blushed. It was really moving to see how these few words pleased him. Do you think so? He asked. Yes, I said. You can easily tell by little things that slip out now and then. Peter is a first-rate chap, too, just like Daddy. Yours, Anna.
So Anne feels like she wants to help Peter in his situation with his parents because he has problems with them too. But she encourages Peter to go to her dad if he just wants to talk to somebody about it. Her dad's a good listener, and Peter agrees. And Anne even tells Peter, yeah, my dad thinks you're a first-rate chap too, and he's really surprised, but he appreciates that. So we'll stop there for today. In the next video, I'm going to do the answers in the green packet. There's only a couple that we can do, and actually some of them are from our last reading before page 151, but that's okay. They'll be on the test next week. All right, I will see you soon.